So you just completed this $2 billion acquisition of Nordic Aviation Capital. What other deals are you looking to get into?
I think for us, the most important thing is that we consume this deal properly, so we integrate it well, etc. And then once we do that, I think, as we've said publicly, we're not done. So we need to further grow our leasing business. And then once we do that, we can look at what other things we could do. But for us, it's digesting this deal properly, because we just announced it day before yesterday, and then moving on to the next one.
And for the strategy, are you thinking of buying so the portfolio of other companies, i.e. jet planes owned by other companies, or the entire company? How are you thinking about this strategy?
For most aircraft leasing companies, those two are almost the same. So, to the extent that we can acquire an entire company, we'd be delighted to do that. But to the extent that a company just wants to sell us a portfolio, we could do that. We've done both. For us, the scale that we need is better accomplished through doing something much bigger than smaller kind of piecemeal acquisitions.
So I've spoken to many airlines over the course of the last couple of weeks, and one of the big topics obviously is tariffs. The other is those delivery delays. And by the way, the two are perhaps a little bit linked. Let me just start off by asking you, first of all, has your business benefited because of these delivery delays, i.e. have airlines opted for leasing more planes in the interim while they wait for deliveries?
Yes. So the demand for passenger travel is very high, and airlines just can't accept the fact that they don't have enough planes to satisfy that demand. So if they can't get the new ones, they're keen not to let go of the old ones. And we've seen a benefit as an industry, both in terms of values and prices and all. So all of that is there. But, if you ask us, what would you rather have, that or no delays? We would err on the favor of no delays, because that's a good transition into clean, fuel-efficient aircraft sooner rather than later, and a much more orderly functioning of the market.
And I believe you have an outstanding order of the Boeing 737, the narrow-body jets. When are you expecting delivery of those planes? We
are taking delivery as we speak, but I think it's fair to say that the delivery rate is less than half of what we thought it would be, so much lower than what we anticipated, because of a variety of issues that we all know that Boeing is going through. But it's getting better, and we think that it will get even better as we go ahead.
And how are you thinking about the impact of tariffs? I mean, again, lots of scope for discussion there. Nobody really knows where we're going to end up. But assuming things stay where they are, what sort of an impact would that have on your industry?
So for us, when we look at tariffs, which, as you say, is a fluid thing, there are multi-order effects that we need to worry about. The first one is the obvious one, kind of who pays for it. It's contractually very clear who pays for it, but I think that the business model is not tenable, meaning regardless of who pays for it, we don't have room in the airline business model or OEM business model or the lessor business model to accommodate that extra outflow. So that is a reality that we will deal with. The second is, kind of demand dampening. So if fewer goods need to move because there is lesser trade, if fewer people need to move to make those deals happen, we will see a corresponding reduction in demand. Then we have, in our opinion, kind of demand shock. So, for example, people adjust their discretionary incomes to accommodate for the fact that they're paying more for other things by traveling less. That's an issue that we will deal with. And the last one is the one that, it's kind of small, but we don't know how it's going to go. It's just pure patriotism. So what you see in Canada is people just refusing to travel to the U.S. And a large airline reduced their summer schedules because people are just not traveling. So when you put all that together, these are very many moving things. The good news from our standpoint, silver lining, I should say, is that at any point during the last few years that somebody said, oh, I don't need the plane because somebody else has stepped in and said, can I have that, please? So the overall demand pool is still very exciting.
And let me just ask you quickly, last question from my side, but where do you think the fastest growing markets are going to be in the next couple of years?
I think the fastest growing markets by extension are where the fastest growing population clusters are in the world and the fastest growing disposable incomes are in the world. Because the faster you grow disposable income, the larger number of people you can have going from not having traveled before to having traveled. And then once you do that, that pool expands quite exponentially, quite quickly.
That makes sense.